Hi guys, John here, Common Sense Outdoors. So today I want to talk about what is a survival kit. And I'm also going to talk about what isn't a survival kit. But the first thing you need to understand when we're talking about what is a survival kit is, well, most of you probably already know the rule of threes. You can go 3 minutes without oxygen, 3 hours in extreme, smoke is bad, extreme elements, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. The food one is debatable. You've probably all heard, fasting for 40 days. But on the other hand, if you're in a survival situation, every day you go without food, you're going to be weaker every day you go without food. So, in my opinion, food's not, you can go 3 weeks without food, you don't need food in a survival scenario. Even though most survival scenarios, we're talking about a 72-hour scenario. So with that in mind, the main things you're worried about are extreme elements, whether it's really cold or really hot, water, and food. Also with that, you have to take in consideration first aid, signaling, and navigation. Navigation is the least of your worries if you're lost or stranded. First of all, if the only thing you're worried about in navigation is if you're lost. If you're stranded, stuck, you're just put into a survival scenario, but you know exactly where you are, you don't need the compass. If you are lost, if you would have used a compass to begin with, you wouldn't be lost. So once you become lost, to try to use a compass to get yourself out is not a great scenario. And in most cases, if you stay put in that situation, you're going to get found a whole lot faster than if you wander around trying to find your own way out. I actually read a very interesting article. I forget the gentleman's name, but he read 800 cases, search and rescue cases, and every one of them they found clues of the person they were looking for had been there before they found the person. And I think only 2 cases where they actually stayed put. Now, not all those people that they looked for were found alive, but they found clues of those people before they found them. So if that person would have stayed where they were, they would have been found ahead of time, way ahead of time, maybe in time to get them out alive. So, and everybody is, gotta have a compass, gotta have a compass. Compass is way down on the list, guys. The main things you have to worry about: fire, shelter, water, food, signaling, first aid. First aid, if it's a major, if you get cut open major or something, you can always use a sock, a shirt sleeve, part of your shirt, wrap it, get it to stop bleeding. If it's worse than that, a survival, you'd have to pack a pretty good first aid kit. While I'm talking about first aid kits, a lot of people talk about putting in Tylenol or Advil or some sort of a painkiller in case they're injured. If you're going to put a painkiller in a small first aid kit, in your survival kit, make it ibuprofen. Something with ibuprofen in it, or actual ibuprofen. Ibuprofen is the only one that reduces swelling. So if you sprain an ankle or wrist or boulder smashes your hand and it's going to swell up, ibuprofen is the only thing that's going to help you with that swelling and the pain. So let's talk about the main 3 things. First 3 things: fire, shelter, and water. what I have right here is a really good start to a survival kit. I have 50 feet of paracord, 55-gallon contractor's bag. I've already done a video on how to make this into a shelter. You could also poke a hole in the bottom of it, put it over you. It is long enough that it will go from your shoulders almost to your feet if you poked a hole and pulled it over your head. So rain poncho, hold your body heat in if it was cold, or a shelter. Simple vegetable can, water container, water purification. I could cook in it. It's free. And fire. This is pretty fail-safe fire method. This one in particular happens to have a compass and a whistle. There was a company that put these on eBay for a while for 99 cents. I bought 20 something of them at 99 cents. You can for sure get them for $2.99 on eBay. Some people try to sell them for like $8 or $9, but you can buy it now, have it sent to your door for $2.99 at the most. Again, compass, not really necessary in my opinion, but I can affect fire. I have a signal whistle. So with those 4 items, fire, shelter, cordage, water container, purification, and I'm doing all of that for less than $4. What's my main point? And from there, guys, and presumably you'd have a pocket knife, a knife, a multi-tool, something to go with those 4 items. And that'd probably most likely be part of your EDC. So what's my main point? You don't have to have a lot, and I'm not saying go minimalist or primitive or anything like that, but you don't have to have a lot to affect whether or not you can live or die. And there's a lot of knowledgeable people putting videos out and passing on knowledge through YouTube that are great people, but more and more of them are saying, look at this gear, throw that in your pack, throw that in your pack, throw this in your pack, fill up a backpack. If I start putting a folding saw, cook set, hammock, tarp, if I start putting all those things into a backpack, and I'm going to call that a survival kit, that pack's going to end up weighing 60, 80 pounds if I put all that stuff in there. That's not a survival kit. That's gear. If I load up a backpack and go on a hike, and I'm going to go hiking for 3 days, I'm backpacking, and that's my camping gear. If I put stuff in my truck and I go up in the woods and I break it out and I set up camp, that's camping gear. If I throw all this gear into my backpack, it's gear. I can't throw all these things, all the hatchet and saws and 4 knives and you name it. I can't throw all this stuff into a backpack and call it a survival kit. I don't need all those things to survive. It could very well affect my survivability, but chances are the heavier that backpack gets, and for it to just be a backpack period, I will guarantee you'll go somewhere without it at one point. And let's hope that's not the one time you needed it. Keep your kit as small as you can, with as much stuff in it to affect your survivability, and preferably attached to your body so that you know you're going to have it with you all the time. And you're going to be better off than putting $1,000 worth of gear into a backpack and calling it your survival kit. Most of these people that are telling you that, they'd make a great bug out bag, that's for sure, but not a survival kit. There's a lot of things that I do in the woods where I'm not going to pack around a 60 to 80 pound pack just because I might need it. That's camping gear in my opinion. Let me give you an example of what I'm saying. I'm going to try to wrap it up and keep this fairly short. Here I have 6 different first aid kits. Bottom right we have an Altoids tin. That Altoids tin will hold Band-Aids, alcohol swabs, antibiotic, ibuprofen, needle, thread, gauze pad, tape. I can fit all that stuff into that little tiny package. So which one of these are you going to carry with you out into the woods? It's that simple. These 3 bottom ones, obviously small, fit into a pocket, whatever. The 2 middle ones, and something like that would actually hook onto a belt. So if I could put everything that I need in a survival kit into that, and it hooks onto my belt, I'd take that in the woods with me. This thing's got everything in it. It's got resuscitation masks, it's got splints, it's got a fold-up stretcher. You see how much stuff is in there? This has got everything. Are you going to carry that out in the woods? Not very easily. And guess what, guys? The big one, that's your backpack full of gear. You're going to leave it. You're not going to take it with you at some point. This is the size you want your survival kit to end up being. This one at most. I could put a lot of stuff in this red one. I could fit enough stuff in there to live in the woods for a week. I'm not saying go minimalist, but I am saying a backpack full of gear is not a survival kit, guys. Let's be realistic. So you can agree with me, you can disagree with me. It's up to you. But think about it. You know, a lot of the videos I've done already, and some of the ones that I plan to do in the future, I do purposely to make you think about what you're doing. Just because somebody on YouTube says you should have this or you should have that, think about it. Go out and use it. Try it. How heavy is it? How big is it? Decide for yourself. Your climate is going to require something different than my climate. What do I personally need, and how small of a package can I put it into to where I know I will have it with me when I need it. So thanks for watching. I think I got everything I wanted to say in there. I'm not trying to hack on anybody that has said fill a backpack full of gear up. If that's what you want to do it. But there's going to come a point in time where you're going to be away from that bag, or you're going to go somewhere without that bag. You can, if you're a hunter and you're driving up the road to go on a hunt and a herd of elk ran across the road in front of you and you jumped out and went after them, did you take the time to put that 80-pound pack on before you took off? Let's say it was right before dark or something, and by the time you got done chasing the elk, it was dark and you weren't quite sure where you were because you went in so fast. Do you have that pack with you then? I have my bracelet with me, and that's a survival kit in itself. I have my knife kit on me, that's a survival kit in itself. If you haven't seen those videos, check those out. We need to work on keeping it smaller, guys, so we can make sure it's with us when we need it. That's all I'm saying. So I hope you like it. Like, comment, subscribe. More videos coming to you soon.